We're not in a nursing shortage. We're in a shortage of people who are willingly signing up to go to work with the expectation that they will be assaulted and or murdered.
She's had situations where she's had her hair pulled, she's been spat at, she's been pushed, she's been thrown, she's been punched.
So here we go. I've been saying this for 3 years now. Without nurses, your hospitals will close. Treat us better. Pay us like you owe us for all the years that you hold us. The American healthcare system is crashing. 418 hospitals are at risk of closing. And guess why? Because they don't have nurses.
Guys, we need to stop saying there's a nursing shortage. There is not a nursing shortage. There is a staffing crisis, okay? Nurses don't want to work in toxic environments. We're not getting paid half of the amount we should be getting paid. And honestly, it's fake news. Nursing shortage is fake news.
What is going on, guys? It's JC Nita here, and we're talking today about the fact that it seems to be that nurses are disappearing from the labor force.
But now you can't find them anywhere.
Some people say there's a nursing shortage, while others say there's a staffing issue. Nonetheless, let's hop into videos and see what's really going on.
There is no nursing shortage. I think people are sick of me saying that. There is no nursing shortage. We're pushing 6 million nurses in this country, more than ever before in history. If you look around, every single nursing program in your area is turning away tons of qualified applicants 3 times a year. People are actively, constantly trying to get into the profession. There's more than enough nurses to fill the void. Okay, what there is a staffing crisis, which is entirely different. The reason there's a staffing crisis is because poor working conditions, poor wages. If we had guaranteed safety in place, if we had things to protect our patients, to protect us, if we were paid appropriately for our level of education, experience, and risk, you would have nurses at the bedside.
Okay, so it seems to be the big issue here so far from at least these 2 videos is that there is a problem with payment, which to me blows my mind. I've done another video, which I don't know if I'll drop it before or after this one, about teachers and how they're underpaid. And we all know teachers are underpaid. Seems that nurses are underpaid as well. The people that do some of the most important work in our society appear to be underpaid. To me, I think that if there's somebody who is literally taking my life in their hands and providing me with physical, mental, sometimes emotional care, I think that these people should be paid more money. So whenever I hear stuff like this about there's a payment issue, it kind of, I don't know. It seems like to be wrong to me. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you're a nurse, please comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinion. But it seems that so far, the reason there seems to be what they're calling a staffing issue, not a nursing shortage, is 1, payment.
My first job as a psych MP was in a prison, and I loved it. I was there for 2 years, and my family and friends were concerned about my safety. And I'll tell you one thing, I felt safer in a prison than I did in any psych emergency room, inpatient unit, any hospital I've worked at in Philadelphia or New Jersey. A prison felt safer to me. Now let that sink in. When I started working in the prison, I started Krav Maga, which is Israeli self-defense. And everyone's like, why do you do that? And I'm like, have you seen the news? We have normalized assaulting healthcare workers, and it's not just nurses, but I'm a nurse, so I say nurse. We've normalized assaulting healthcare staff, and that's just it. That's part of the job. And anyone who says, you signed up for that, well, this is the fuck around and find out part. If we sign up for it, we can absolutely sign ourselves the fuck out. And that's why you have nobody willing to work in hospitals and healthcare settings. And the craziest part to me is every hospital is different, but around us, we call it Handle with Care, where they teach you how to verbally and physically de-escalate patients without harming them. And I'm like, okay, question. If someone's breaking every bone in my face, am I really concerned about de-escalating without hurt? No, I'm not. I'm sorry. But I'm not, no amount of money is worth losing my life. And for the hospital to turn around and say, well, how could you have prevented it? If you don't support the change for nurses, healthcare staff to be a safer environment, you are not going to have anyone to care for you or your family when you're in a hospital. There's going to be nobody. I don't have any empathy for the people, the hospitals who want to be so, oh my God, we have no nurses, we're in a nursing shortage. I don't care. You're pushing nurses to the point where they don't care, and you go into the profession to help people, and you can't even get to help people anymore because you have to choose your own life over that.
Okay, so there was a lot said there, and what she's talking about reminds me of two personal situations that are close to me. One of them is a older lady in my life. She's close to me. She's like another mother to me. Another person is like a friend. One's a nurse and one's a special education teacher. One is a psych nurse, and they both have told me stories where their lives were in physical danger. The special education teacher, she works with students who sometimes are two times, three times her size, big kids, and mentally they're not, they're special education students, so they tend to be, those students tend to be stronger a lot of times, or they tend to at least know how to use more of their strength, it seems. And of course, they don't know how to effectively at times control their aggression and anger. And sometimes they take it out on the teachers and the special education, paraeducators and so forth. She's had situations where she's had her hair pulled, she's been spat at, she's been pushed, she's been thrown, she's been punched. And like I said, some of these students are very strong. The psych nurse that I know, similar situation. She's in these hospitals, in these care facilities with people who are going through mental disturbances, and sometimes that leads to physical interactions, and they are taught to de-escalate. And a lot of times it takes a group of nurses, and of course we know that nursing is a predominantly female-dominated field, and so you're dealing with a bunch of, mostly women, and sometimes they're these, bigger men or strong women who they have to subdue or hold down. So, I mean, it can be dangerous. So what she's saying is not at all false. I know from a personal perspective, I'm around very many nurses, and depending on the environment that you work in, it could definitely be dangerous. Not to mention, take away the aspect of the physical violence, just the hazardous aspect of dealing with human fluids and other matter, and potentials of being pricked by needles and things of that nature is definitely a dangerous occupation. So for them to be underpaid is it's just quite disheartening. Let's see what some of the consequences are of these things that are all coalescing between the danger of it, the underpayment, the burnout. Let's see what else is going on here.
Today on Nurses in the News, headline reads, "A dangerous nursing shortage must be addressed in the face of silver tsunami." Staffing shortages and increasing workloads have left nurses feeling more burnt out than ever before. There may be dire consequences for hospitals here and around the nation. Overburdened, overworked nurses lead to higher mortality rate. The looming shortfall only creates more stress on an already overburdened nursing floor. As more nurses leave the profession, the ones who stayed are forced to take on more and more of the patient load to bridge the gap. This not only increases burnout and dissatisfaction, but most importantly places patients in potentially dangerous situations. Nurses are the center of healthcare. They've earned respect and deserve to be honored. A recent study found that each additional patient increases in the hospital mortality rate by 19%. This is an alarming statistical increase within a system currently trending in the wrong direction. Hospitals are at risk of closing. The critical lack of qualified nurses is sending waves well beyond the nursing floor and seriously affecting the healthcare industry as a whole.
Nurses are the center of the healthcare system. Obviously, if you have these nurses who are leaving the healthcare system in droves, what does that mean? That means the nurses that are left, as she just said, as the article said, are left to pick up the slack and do more of the work. What does that mean? There's gonna be more mistakes. They're more tired. They're more burnt out. They're sleepy. They're working 12-hour shifts back to back. And you're having this person who is tired and lethargic and maybe not fully at their best game, caring for ill people, caring for sick people, caring for people in ICUs who are, in critical condition. That's scary.
The states most affected by the closures include Texas, Tennessee, Kansas, Missouri, and Georgia. Many of these hospitals are located in rural areas of the country, a region that is already severely underserved and lacking access to basic health care. So we can find a way to both keep current nurses at the bedside as well as attract new graduates. The problems facing our hospitals will continue to deteriorate unless these problems are resolved before the silver tsunami.
So silver tsunami is what she was going to say. Silver tsunami, obviously we know that means a lot of people are getting older. The baby boomer generation is getting older and they're becoming silver, graying. And obviously they were the largest generation. I think the millennial generation that I'm part of maybe overtook that, or we might be the second largest, but the baby boomer generation is huge. So as they continue to age, we're gonna need people to care for them. If we don't have enough nurses, we're gonna have a serious problem. If hospitals keep closing down, especially in these rural areas or in these underserved urban areas, big problem. There are some solutions that are being proposed. There's one solution which is to bring more people from overseas to fill the gap, but I think there's some issues with that as well. There's a video on that as well. Let's take a quick look at that video. But essentially the idea is to bring people from overseas to fill the gap that we're facing in the US.
Hospitals have a big problem. They're running out of nurses. And one solution to bring nurses from abroad has hit a major roadblock. The US government has a backlog of visas, and experts say that more than 10,000 international nurses are in that queue, suddenly finding themselves stuck in their home countries, unable to enter the US, and they might be delayed indefinitely. Hospitals across the country are struggling to meet patient demand as nurses leave the profession in droves. At least 100,000 have left their jobs since the pandemic started from burnout or retirement, and turnover in the profession remains high. International nurses were supposed to fill the gap. So now hospitals are scrambling to fill it. But sponsoring an international nurse isn't cheap either. Costs start at $10,000 per applicant, and that doesn't include flights, housing, skills, language training, and other fees.
All right, so to me, this sounds like you're not solving the problem. The problem is you need to solve pay. The problem is you need to solve the safety aspect of it. The problem is you need to have better balance so nurses aren't working so many hours. And we have plenty of people that are going and joining the nursing profession, like we've heard. The issue is the people that are joining are not being treated how they want to be treated, and so they're leaving, they're having burnout. So just to bring people over from overseas to solve that problem, you're not really solving it. You're just putting those people in positions that aren't the healthiest, and maybe because they're coming from a place that they didn't really have as much opportunity for money and for financial, for jobs, they're willing to put up with stuff that people in the US aren't. So is that really solving the problem? I don't know. I don't think so, but nonetheless, this is an issue. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Feel free to give the video a like and to subscribe if you feel so too inclined, because it really does help with the YouTube algorithm, and I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.